Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus one more time. And I want to take a little bit of time to share with you something that I hope is beneficial to you. And if not, I'm doing it because it's my job, it's my duty, it's my responsibility. And to that I commit this presentation. You know, ladies and gentlemen, there are various groups of people here in this culture, in this United States of America. Most of them are immigrants. We came from someplace else and we brought with us our culture. And since we've been here, we've had a group of people who call themselves superior and master, and they have convinced us that perhaps our culture is inappropriate, that we don't need it, we should leave it alone. Well, there was a time, ladies and gentlemen, that our culture was very important. How we talked to people, it enabled the people to understand us and what we meant. So, yes, some people got foreign languages to other people, then our language is foreign to people as well. In other words, what I'm trying to say is, there was a time when we told you to get out of the way, we meant it, and just get out of the way was not our way of saying it. If you didn't do it when we told you, we might tell you to get your ass out the way and meant it. And you knew we meant it, and you started moving your ass out the way. Now, for those of you who have been watching me, you know I spent a lot of time on God. But a lot of time on God, I've been trying to encompass into what I say the things that you have determined God to be, or associations with God that you understood. And sometimes that might have taken me out of my way by trying to please you as opposed to trying to please the work that I've been given to do. And I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, to God, I apologize. And for those of you who are sincere and interested about learning something different than what you have been taught, then I apologize to you as well. Today I want to talk to you about a clearer message of life. A clearer message of life. So God made the earth with all operational abilities for all times, for all people. It's kind of hot here. Let me get something. It's below zero outside here in Minnesota. I got this heat on, or maybe it's the pressure from having to stand before this video and record this truth that perhaps might be getting me sweaty. Yes, God made the earth with all operational abilities for all times, for all people. God made all people, 7 billion of them. And I'm talking to you, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you this story in such a way that you might see some clarity. I'm not taking you back to the garden. I'm taking you to right now. Okay? Right now. He made 7 billion of them with universal requirements for survival, and each one offering a personal ability to contribute to the process of maintaining an abundance of life's essentials to the degree that 7 billion will be lacking and in need of nothing. In their creative process, the best is all that they set their minds and hands to, and the best is the result. With careers and food and clothing and shelter and education and health care, and none without, all result of spirit which is unseen. Their freedom, the peace and prosperity and joy that it produces, and life, my friends, is fine. Now, how many of you know of that? Even the very rich, the wealthiest people on earth don't know that, because there's turmoil, what they say, trickling on down to hell. Now, why does it exist? I'll tell you later. Then there came another spirit that found refuge in men like Donald Trump, men like Hitler, men like Putin, men like King and others. These men wanted to be God that humans could see, which means they have to claim ownership of all things. They begin by claiming themselves as superior to all people. They are directly connected to the divine, the spiritual powers, and have authority to claim all resources of the earth as well as govern all the systems and its people. Any people who disagree with that? Yeah. Woo! Now, in order to pull this fantasy off, they need support. They need support from the people. So the people, in order for them to get the support, must be divided. And the tool of choice is deception. First, they must divide the sexes, the men from the women. Then they must divide men from men and nations from nations. The next tool of usage is fear, enabling one side, disabling the other, rewarding one side and punishing the other, making laws to keep people in line, laws and penalties, and issuing fines and jails and death in order to maintain control. Anybody disagree with this as being what's happening in our world today? Their actions create haves and have-nots. This is the spirit that we're under today. Create poverty and crime and violence, lying and cheating, racism and bigotry, terror and war. Is there any disagreements with the world today? And if you want to step out there in the world, is there any disagreement with what's happening in America today? The challenge is, accept this way of life or resist it. Acceptance means you are benefiting as master servant or a slave. Resist means you are imprisoned or killed. The spirit enjoys at minimum, or should I say this evil spirit enjoys at minimum 50% support of active involvement and 30% of what we call good people that do nothing. So my advice, if I had to give anyone wanted it, every time I was to die, I found I was still alive. Putin, Trump, Kim Jong, etc. are not God. So if we are here, it's evidence that there is a God. So have faith in what you can't see. This is why God is not believed, because you can't see it, and the evil on the earth you can. And so you have no respect for what you can't see, but all of the respect for what you can see. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you. Every last one of you got a choice to make. You can claim a group choice if you want to. You can think that the group that you're with is right, or you can stand alone as an individual. And if you are right as an individual, then all of you together might be one heck of a group. But you're not standing there because you're a part of the group. You're standing there because you are led by what is right. So we can't say, when we hear American citizens saying, USA, 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 make America great again. These are cries from evil people. These are the cries for people who don't give a damn about anybody but themselves. These are the ones who will say, drop a bomb on anybody you don't like. These are the ones that you say, ladies and gentlemen, you are held up right now in Washington, D.C. as your leadership. And you say you are a child of God. I want to tell you something about a child of God. A child of God resists every institution, and you listen to me well, ladies and gentlemen, because I will not lie to you. Every institution in the United States of America. I haven't been but a few places outside, so I'm not going to speak to that. But every institution in the United States of America is designed to deceive you and to keep you a victim of this evilness that has been generated since the beginning of time. Every institution. Every institution. And that includes the institutions that have been held up before you as the teaching mechanisms whereby you are supposed to learn and be confronted with the truth. It's all a lie. Do you think the church is separated from the government? Do you think the church is separated from the system? Well, you say it is, and you say that because that's what they told you. You don't know what you're talking about. That book that you believe in is what they have designed before you to direct your path, to hold you in line. Now, am I saying that the Bible is no good? No, I'm not saying that the Bible is no good. Everything got some good in it. But what you get out of it is what you've been taught to get out of it, because you're doing and keeping the systems of the world, keeping the system of America just like it has always been. And every time somebody's touched with a little bit of light, they are murdered. They are murdered. Martin Luther King was murdered. Do you think all these other preachers around here, Jesse Jackson, Tafo Dollar, Osteen, you think these people work for God? These people are working for the devil. The devil, ladies and gentlemen. Or should I just say, they are carrying out the desires of the evil spirit. Now, I know this makes you mad, and I don't give a damn if it makes you mad, because it ain't going to do nothing. Only thing you will do is curse me out, threaten to kill me, evidence that you are just as crooked can crook. But I want to tell you, those of you who got some sense, some of you who try to be right, did you hear what the President of the United States said during what he called the State of the Union speech? First of all, he wanted to wrap America with a wall to keep other people out. And everybody who supports him wouldn't. At least 80% of the people wants that wall. Why? Because it sets them aside, protects their interest, saying, keep America great. You think America is great when it builds walls to separate itself from those who need the expressions of greatness amongst them? Do you think they need a wall to keep people who are running from persecution and death out? And you call yourself a great nation. A great nation, for those of you who are curious, is a nation that would go out in those parts of the country where people are being abused, where people are being misused and starving and robbed. A great nation would go out and make changes. They would come together with those other leaders of that other places, and they would work out policies, and they would make out plans to eliminate what is causing these things, not by putting people in jail, not by wars and strife, but by helping people meet the needs, their everyday needs for survival, and giving them the great joys of life to be living. Woo-hoo. That's what a great nation would be doing, just as a great people. God's people would not be following this line, going to the polls, voting for evil. Not God's people, people who've been lied to, people who are faking it, people who believe, people who are misled. They'll go to the polls and vote for Trump, Miss Clinton. They'll do anything because they don't know God. And who's telling them about God? Let me tell you something. I might think I am, but you look at my clicks. See how many people have been checking to see what I'm talking about. You might find 2, 3. Why? Because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. But I want you to listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I told you in the beginning of this presentation that God designed the earth so that you could live as in heaven right here. But your president that you voted for stood up on the before the nation Tuesday night and said, America's a great nation founded on freedom. He said that America is a nation that will never accept socialism. What was he saying? What does socialism as they present it to you? What does it mean? It means that everybody is entitled to health care. The President of the United States ain't got a standing ovation from your leadership, got a standing ovation when he said that there will be those of you who will always be without health care. They've shouted. He was essentially saying that those of you who are living on the streets can expect to live on the streets unless you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, because you'll never have that in here in the United States of America. And he was applauded, mostly by white men, a few white women, and a few token blacks up in there trying to ride this train. He was saying that as far as your health care is concerned, you'll never get it. Not here in America, because we don't give a damn about you. I mean, what else do they have to say? How much demonicness has to come out before you understand who they are? You who say you love God, how much must be done to you? How much must you endure before you stand up and say, God, if you're real, then be in me, because I'm not going to take this shit no more. What is it going to take? Killing your mama? They already killed your daddy. What is it going to take? Can you ever stand up? Can you ever grow some balls? I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I got a ticket about 2 months ago, I guess, a speeding ticket. It was a ticket. I was going to the airport to pick up one of my sons and his family, his wife. But late at night, the traffic was thin. I don't know what the speed limit was, but I was driving, and I felt pretty good because at this time, I could just pick up a little speed. I could be free, and I could just drive and get onto the airport. So a certain space, I don't know how fast I was driving, but I felt comfortable and safe. And miles on down the road, when I was getting close to the airport, I found out I got pulled over. Some cop told me that I speeded somewhere, and I was being, hey, Taylor! Oh boy. Anyway, my daughter just called me. I guess I'm going to finish this anyway. She's at school now. I was being told that I was speeding. I didn't argue with him. I had a nice drive. A free man's drive. You know, for those of you who got animals, you train them. You know, I got a puppy. I can take him out to feed him, take him for a walk, he get back to the door. I can open the door for him to come in. He'll sit right there, like, until I say, come in. And you got the red lights up there for traffic. And you know it's to control traffic. They don't want you banging into each other. And that's a good thing. That protects everybody. But when you're sitting at a red light and nobody's there but you look like that damn dog sitting there won't move because the light didn't change. What happened to your freedom? What happened to all of that which represents you? What happened to your own personal authority to make decisions when you want to? Well, anyway, I decided I'm going to this court and I'm going to plead innocent. Why? Because my job is to do God's will. I used to do America's will, but to hell with America and its evilness and that lying demon that is running this country and all the support it's got. Yes, I sacrificed, my friends. I sacrificed. You look at me. I know those of you who call yourselves children of God, you out there trying to survive. You don't know anything about God. You rustling and hustling in this world just like the people who don't know anything about God. Trying to make sure that you got some food and clothing and shelter and education. And the system is designed in such a way that if you get any of that, you're going to follow the rules and regulations. You're going to bend your back to evil. You might not recognize the evil because you think it's okay. You don't have time to do anything else but hustle and serve and slave. That's your whole day and night action. And so you think you know something about God? You don't know a damn thing. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are in church, you don't know a damn thing about God. You know what they told you, and what they told you is about Satan. They might be using the name of God. Why? Because it keeps your back bent. It doesn't bring you any freedom. And so I'm going to go to there and tell them I'm innocent. My job is here to teach you. I've been doing this for 30 years. Right now, I got teeth missing. I ain't got no teeth. Why? Because in order for me to do that, I got to hustle and bustle for the devil to get it. I don't have resources like you do. Why? Because you have sold your soul out to get it. And clear your mind, your conscience by telling you you're serving God. This morning, I looked out my window. And you know we've been getting a lot of snow. I think we got about 10 inches between the night before last and yesterday. I'm 70 years old in a couple of days or a week. And I'm out there shoveling that stuff with a shovel. But I got to do it if I want to get out the yard. This morning I was awakened by some noise. There was a big tractor or something out there with one of those movers. I guess he had passed by my house and a couple other houses and saw the driveway. The snow was all packed up. So that engine was making a lot of noise. So if anybody looked out the window and saw it, they might offer him a job to remove that snow. I looked at it. But I know this. I could have gone out there with a shovel. He'd asked me, do you need some help? I said, yes. And he'd have told me how much it cost. And if I couldn't pay it, he'd have drove off. That's evil, ladies and gentlemen. That's the way of the world. That's capitalism. That's the world you have accepted. And that president stood before you and told you that there is no socialism that's going to arise here in the United States of America. And most of you who go to church were shouting too, because you have been told that socialism is wrong. And every day you get on your knees and pray, talking about going to heaven. Talking about going to heaven where you won't have to worry about food anymore. You won't have to worry about housing anymore. You won't have to worry about education anymore. You won't have to worry about health care anymore. And you won't have to worry about being busy, because now you're living in paradise where everything is all right. That's what you claim, and yet you bend yourself to act like a fool down here on earth, calling yourself a child of God. I ain't mad with you. You don't know any better. And I have been negligent in telling you the truth sometimes, trying to please you, trying to make sure that you felt all right. To hell with the devil in you. To hell with the devil in you. I got kids that I couldn't send to college. Why? Because I didn't bend my back and serve Satan to make sure that I had the money to do it. Why? Because God told me that education was provided for by heaven, and those who are led by the Spirit of God will guarantee it to one another. That's what I know. You don't know that. Who told you that? That's the first time you heard it, right? Right? Maybe not. You heard some Democrats tell you that. Yeah, I know you did. And you've been voting for Democrats just like they've been voting for Republicans. Do you see it? No, you don't see it. Are you going to see it? Hell no, you're not going to see it. Because capitalism will not permit it. Capitalism is a tool of Satan. And even socialism is a tool of Satan if the people don't make sure it's protected and led by the spirit of love. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I better crack this thing down now. I don't want y'all calling me Alex Jones. But sometimes you have to sweat a little bit. You have to bite your tongue. You have to say what people don't want to hear. You know, I got friends that are in the church that are preachers that I can't even talk with because they keep talking about this junk that keep the world just like it is. And then talking about little stuff like, why don't they give the people over there some food? Why don't you stand up and guarantee that just like you got food, these people got food, and like you don't ever want to be without it, they will never be without it. Why don't you do that? Because the spirit in you says that you're selfish. As long as you got yours, you don't give a damn about anybody else. Now, all my brothers and sisters who are preachers and cousins and church-loving folks, I love you. I don't give a shit what you think about me. But I love you. That's why I'm standing up here talking to you like I'm talking to you. Because somebody needs to tell you the truth. Somebody needs to challenge the bullshit you've been learning and the way you've been acting. No wonder you're prostituting your bodies. No wonder you're selling drugs trying to survive. No wonder you're cheating and stealing and lying. Because you're just trying to survive in a world that don't give a damn about you. But it ain't the world, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm upset about. I'm upset about you. You don't give a damn about yourself. Whew. Been a long time since I was using profanity like that. But it's right on time. I'm going to stop now, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so very much for going through this with me, those one or two of you who did. I know that you who did were going to click this thing and say you liked it. Because it is you who is probably struggling for one another the same way. My argument is not against the Republicans because the Democrats are better. There are none better than God. But you'll never see God unless God lives in you. But I'm not looking for God in you. I want to show you God in me. Thank you, and bye-bye. I'm not looking for God in you. I want to show you God in me.